The digital landscape is changing rapidly, and in order to win today online, you need a completely different mindset. We call this journey the way of the brave. Okay? And one of the things that has held me back for years and years and years is this constant questioning and feeling, am I ever going to make it? When are things going to start turning around? When am I going to start seeing success? Because as someone who has always strived towards big things in my life, perfection in my life, winning in my life, it's like, all right, business is like one of the hardest friggin' games you can play. And so when you're going through it, especially early on in your journey, it's very difficult to have that faith, have that belief that things are going to switch, things are going to turn around eventually. And so what I want to talk about today is a concept that has really helped me hold faith in the earlier parts of my career and still today. Something that I'm rooting the belief in my eventual success in. And it's helped me massively really reframe the fear and the doubt and the uncertainty that you feel when you are grinding away on social media, when you are DMing 10 people a day and no one's replying to you, and you are getting rejected on sales calls, and you post a social media video and you get 10 views and no likes and no comments. One thing that happened to me the other day that really encapsulated this whole process of business, of grinding, of not seeing results, of being frustrated, has been my journey of learning to surf. And so we recently moved to Bali, and I always used to love watching surfing videos of people catching barrels and surfing all the way down the waves, and it looked amazing to me. And so deep down, I did have a desire to learn how to surf, but the actual doing of it was a whole nother story. And so I would go out there with a longboard and I would try and catch these waves, and I would fall off constantly. And the biggest thing actually that stopped me initially was a feeling of looking stupid. Okay, so I would see all of these cool surfer dudes with their cool hair, their tan skin, their short boards, going out there and carving shit up. And then there was me, this big fucking lumpy dude and his huge ass board, crashing, looking like a complete doofus on the waves. And so that fear of looking stupid and embarrassing myself really held me back. Okay, so it was an embarrassing feeling. I felt so much resistance to going out and getting on the waves. But eventually, I kept doing it, and I was like, okay, wow, this isn't that bad. A lot of this stuff that I held in my head was in my head, exactly that. And so I knew about these concepts of like, okay, be a beginner, don't have too much ego, you have to be okay with sucking. I knew all of these concepts in my mind, but doing it and implementing it was a completely different thing. So I kept getting up, kept getting destroyed. I got sunburned, I got laughed at, I got hit by the reef, I fell off the surfboard countless times. And so it was one Sunday, I was lying in my bed and my girlfriend, she said, Luke, do you want to come surf? Do you want to come surf with me? And I remember thinking to myself, no, I do not. I do not want to come surf with you. I don't want to go through that again. But then there was something inside of me, and she said, Luke, just come out. You need to get out of the house. You need to try because, it's like a rest day. I wasn't training at the gym. I wasn't working. So I was like, chilling, doing nothing pretty much. And so I was like, all right, you know what? Screw it. Let me try one more time. And we went out, we walked down the cliff, down the beach. I hired a board. The waves were pretty small, but, surfable on a longboard. And so I paddled out there, and got hit by a few waves. And then this wave started approaching, and it was quite a big one. And so my heart started to beat. I was like, you know what? This is now or never. This is literally my last shot at surfing. So I turned the board around, and I started paddling. I started paddling, and then the waves started taking me. And next thing I knew, I was flying down this wave, and by some stretch of God's divinity, a hand picked me up and pulled me up, and I stood up on the board. And next thing you know, everything went slow motion. And I started surfing down this flippin' wave, looking to the side of me, flying down a wave in slow motion. And I continued to surf this wave, and it must have been for about 5 to 10 seconds. And it was one of the most amazing feelings of my life. And boy, after that, did surfing become one of the most awesome things in my life. I absolutely got hooked and hicked by the bug. Now, the point of this story is, all right, I was fearful of what people thought about me. I was afraid of being crap at surfing. I was getting frustrated by my lack of results, and I was expecting things to click, click, click for me. What actually ended up happening was I was feeding in and I was choosing to believe in the fear. I was choosing to get frustrated as opposed to choosing to be in the process of learning to surf. And so what I want you to understand from this, and the point I'm trying to get across to you here, is that fear and faith both require that you believe in something that is not there. So it is our decision to choose what we believe in. So we can believe in faith, we can believe that I will get up on the waves eventually, I just have to believe. Or I can believe in fear, fear of what people think of me, fear that I will never ever get up on the wave and get up on the surfboard. And this whole process can be applied to the realm of business. It can be applied to any realm of life where you are in a moment, in a period where you don't yet have the skills to do something, and you have to grind away to get those skills, to develop those skills so you can break through and have that moment where you start surfing down the wave. And so a framework that has really helped me with this and that came to me was that there is an emotional journey of creating anything great or doing anything great. And that emotional journey generally starts in what I call the desert of despair. And so the desert of despair is when you are pushing, you have put in effort, you're getting painful, you're getting rejected, you're in the DMs, you're getting fatigued, whether it's surfing or posting content all the time, and you're constantly pivoting and changing. And the majority of people quit right in the middle, right before they have that breakaway, right when I was on that Sunday and I didn't want to go out and surf, I didn't want to get onto the waves because I thought, you know what, I'm over this. And it was at that moment when I actually decided to go and surf, I had my breakthrough. I had the breakthrough into the ocean of abundance, and I started surfing. I started loving it, and I got that beautiful reward for my efforts for the whole month prior to that trying to surf. And so it was the decision to believe in faith, to feel the faith, that I was able to break through the desert of despair into the ocean of abundance with surfing. Now, why am I telling you about surfing? The reason is, my friend, this is exactly the journey I went through with my business. I went through frustration, I went through fear, I went through fear of judgment, I went through fear of sucking, I went through the questioning as to whether this would ever work. And guess what happened? The decision to constantly keep going, standing up, and to be persistent allowed me to break through in my business as well. And the feeling of surfing down a wave was the feeling of selling my products. It was the feeling of posting marketing content that actually helped people. It was the feedback I was getting from my clients to say, Luke, thank you so much for that piece of content you created or gave me because it changed my life. And so as a coach, that is the nirvana, baby. That is the wave that we are looking for. We're looking for that moment where we are able to help a client of ours break through. And so what I want you to internalize, my friend, is that the speed at which you are able to break through the desert of despair and enter the ocean of abundance is directly related to the clarity of your vision, mission, and values, and the ability to be bold and daring in bringing your vision into reality. We tend to spend so much longer in the desert of despair than we actually need to. And it's almost like a negative feedback loop. When you do believe in things like fear and you let fear cause negative emotions which cause weak actions, then it's a perpetual cycle that continues to snowball. And so things like inconsistency, doubt, fear, diluted focus, and a lack of clarity will keep you from entering the ocean of abundance. But things like consistency, confidence, bravery, and focus and clarity in your mission and what you're doing will get you out of the desert of despair quicker and into the ocean of abundance. Now, if I had, when I was surfing, just stuck to the thing saying knowing and believing and having faith that if I just stay consistent, getting out into the waves and keep practicing, that I would have my breakthrough. If I had that, maybe I would have enjoyed the process of learning to surf a little more. And so in my eyes, it is exactly the same as business. Obviously, there are more complexities to it, but the actual doing, the actual strategy, the actual tactics of business is pretty simple. And in my eyes, the biggest thing that is blocking people is what is going on up here. It's the fears, the doubts, the uncertainties. Some people don't have it. You see those people, they're just out there being crazy, living their life, and great to them. Power to you, brother. But if you're anything like me, I was crippled by fear. I was crippled by fear. I was crippled by doubt as to whether things were ever going to work out. And I could have enjoyed the process a lot more if I just had that faith and that belief that things are going to work out, which I have now tapped into. And by no means am I where I am striving to go. But I'm on the path. I'm on the path. Therefore, I can actually just enjoy the daily doings of things. I can enjoy creating videos like this. I can enjoy having conversations with people. I can enjoy doing webinars and talking to people and telling them about my services, because I know that it is literally just a matter of time before I reach the desired destination that I'm going for. And that is the mindset and the switch. That is literally the definition of switching between fear and faith. The decision is yours. So now that we understand the desert of despair, we understand the ocean of abundance, all right, there are a few roadmaps that we give our clients and people on how you can navigate through that. Because let's be honest, when you are in the desert of despair, it's not like it takes a month like me and my surfing. It takes months, sometimes years, to get through there. And oftentimes we're working on our own, we're working in a solo environment, and we literally do not have the roadmap on how to navigate out of the desert of despair. And so what I want to give you is a very simple marketing and business principle that we use for all of our clients to navigate our way out. It's almost like a map, if you will. It's a signpost. So you can know where you are and know where you want to go and know the actions that you need to take and the tactics you need to implement to exit the desert of despair and get your ass into the ocean of abundance a lot sooner than you might have. Because it took me 3 years, too long, I would say, maybe even more, to get to a place where I'm running a sustainable, growing business that is actually feeding to the freedom in my life as opposed to taking away from it. So what I want you to write down and what I want you to internalize is a process called SOSTAC. SOSTAC stands for situation, objective, strategy, tactics, and control. And the reason we do this is it creates an awesome idea as where you currently are now. So it's like identify where you are in the desert of despair. And then it's like, where do we want to go? Where are our objectives leading us? Because if you don't have objectives and you don't have clarity around your mission, then how are you going to navigate to that area? You're going to be wandering around. You might even be wandering around in circles. And then it's strategy. So how do we meet those objectives? What is our plan of action? And then what are the tactics? What are the details of that strategy? What are the actual things that we're going to do to move towards our objectives? And then action, very similar to tactics. It's what actions are we taking on a daily basis? And then control. It's reviewing what is working, what isn't, so you can have a very clear mechanism on how to improve and how to know where the gold is. Because you need to remember that the whole process of business is like we're walking around in the darkness. And we're digging little bits in the ground and we're trying to find where the gold is. And we're never going to find where the gold is if we're not reviewing as to, how much gold did I get there? Or what was the soil like there? So you have to continually have a control, or how did you do a process of reviewing what is going on in your life. Otherwise, you could just be following a dead end. You might be digging where there is no reward. So being very, very critical as to what is working, what isn't, will allow you to make pivots quicker and more efficiently. So these are some of the questions that you can ask yourself, okay? The SOSTAC analysis is situation, objectives, strategy, tactics, actions, and controls. So for situation, and this is something that we do for our business on a quarterly basis, situation is, where are you honestly right now? Paint a clear picture of your current life and business situation. What are the biggest problems your clients are facing? What are the whispering complaints? What are the biggest roadblocks and the challenges you are facing? What is going well and what is not going so well? Be honest here. Once you have that, we dig a little bit deeper into strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And this is going to allow you to work on the weaknesses and then also double down on the strengths. And then you've got objectives. Okay, so what are your goals for this year? Aim to have 3 to 5 solid objectives that you're going to be aiming for. So is it to grow your client base? Is it to relaunch your brand with a clear value proposition? Is it to develop strategic partnerships? Do you want to start your YouTube channel? Do you want to start a podcast? Do you want to tidy up your social media? Or do you want to improve your storytelling skill? And then the strategy behind that is, how will you meet the objectives? So for example, what we like to do with the strategy for all of our clients is break it down into, what is my personal brand strategy? What is my product strategy? What is my marketing strategy? What are my partner strategy? Like, who am I creating partnerships with? And what is my people strategy? And so tactics digs a little bit deeper into that. So the details of the strategy. So what is my personal brand strategy? What do I stand for? What is my point of view? What is my one-word solution? My product strategy, this is the way that I do things. Is it a course? Is it a coaching program? Is it a mentorship? What are the details of my offer? And then the marketing strategy is, what is my content cadence? How many posts am I doing per week? What platforms am I sharing on? And how many times a week am I doing that? So then after tactics, it's actions, okay? So who is doing what? What tools are you using and what support do you need? So this is where we create things like action lists, which have descriptions, dates, deadlines, and these are the priorities that need to be executed, okay? And we break these down into 3 core actions per day. Now, if you have a team, as a leader, it's very, very important for you to break down what the priorities and what needs to be executed first. Because if you don't know what your priority is, your team members certainly aren't, and you're going to be running an ineffective business. Now, this is something that we had to implement and I had to implement because I realized that I was giving confusing instructions to people, because I would be like, guys, here's a list of 20 things that we need to do. And so what ended up happening is no one ended up doing it effectively until we created a list and I said, okay, this is the priority that needs to get done this week. This is the priority that I'm going to be focusing on. And I would not move on to something else until that one priority had been executed. Because if there's one thing you can remember from this, it's diluted focus gets diluted results. Diluted focus gets diluted results. All right, so once you've implemented the actions, it's all about control. So monthly reviews of what is working and what isn't across your different content channels. So we use the inbuilt tools within YouTube, IG, LinkedIn to double down on what's working and kick out what isn't. And so the beauty of that process is, on a monthly basis, your efforts, marketing, sales, everything is going to be refined and you're going to be continuously improving and evolving. And remember, if you're not improving and continually evolving, you are slowly dying. Especially in a market that is so competitive as it is today, having a control in place to make sure your content is continually improving, your product is continually improving, and you're getting better at doing what you're doing, whether it is talking on a video, whether it is marketing yourself, whether it is creating great products. The control is like the way we sharpen our sword. If your sword is your product, the stone on which you sharpen that sword is our control. And so we continuously want to be progressing. Progress is sacred. And so if you can commit to making small changes, small improvements on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, you tap into a beautiful thing, my friend, which is called compound interest. And so the compounding effect happens when we're continuously improving, we're continuously showing up with our tactics, and we are continuously growing and evolving as entrepreneurs, business people, and human beings. So, my friend, commit to go all in, commit to understanding where you are, understanding what your objectives are, understanding what your strategy is, what are the tactics, what are the actions, what are the controls that you're going to be implementing, and you will automatically have created your own roadmap on how to exit the desert of despair quicker and move into the ocean of abundance, where you're going to start enjoying more leads, more business, more sales, more clarity, and just a better quality of life, my friend, because abundance is all around you. It's just how quickly you can get out of your own head and start implementing the action process we spoke about today. So, good luck. I hope this helped. If it does, please do let me know in the comments, and I would love to hear from you if it resonated. All right, I'll catch you on the next one. All the best. Peace and love.